good. Technical difficulties again to start the show is Dan, you somehow there you are. There you are.
I'm here. Hey.
Yeah, you're there, but you weren't there. Like Zoom was going all sorts of sideways with OBS. I just updated it and it did 100% not like me doing something. I don't know what it didn't like. We're fixed now. We are Beerfield FF. A lot fewer technical issues this go around than the last go around. Didn't have to restart the show 3 times. Welcome to Wednesday. Welcome to week 5. We got all your start, sit, streams, beer, injury updates, all that fun stuff. Quick update from Monday. Dan, you did end up winning. Steelers defense finished 3rd, which was a streamer call on your part. And Frank Gore did not get knocked out of the top 24, thanks to Joe Mixon. So,
God damn it, Joe Mixon. No, God damn it, Zach Taylor.
Yeah. So Joe Mixon was the 34, even though Samuels and Connery both finished ahead of him. So,
as we all predicted.
So yeah, you get to dish out punishments.
We're gonna go with old style.
Old style? That is not a punishment. Style. I'm a Cubs fan. I'll take that.
You know what? Sometimes you just gotta win when you lose.
Yeah, sometimes I definitely did not win with Monday, even though it wasn't the Colt 45 you told me to drink.
I figured I'd give you.
I still have that taste in my mouth.
Softball.
Yep. Well, being down in St. Louis, we'll see if I can find it. I hope I can because I love me some old style. I should be able to, but we'll see what we get.
Perfect.
And actually, I don't know when I'll get to pay that up because this is the last show I'm on until for over a week.
That's true.
So,
breaking news. You go on your honeymoon next week.
I do. I go on a delayed honeymoon. I got married in May, so did not even want to try to swing recording a podcast while I was out on my honeymoon. So Dan will he'll kind of do what I did when he was gone. So he'll have YouTube only. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification button. All the recording equipment's at my house. All the recording stuff is set up on my laptop. So Dan's going to do the YouTube live thing on Monday with whatever he decides to do for storylines and waiver wires and all that fun stuff, probably a stripped down version. And he'll do start sits on Wednesdays. I will be giving him start sits for Wednesday. It's going to be kind of hard for me to give waiver picks on Monday because I don't know how much football I'm going to be able to watch. But
that's fine. I didn't expect you to do much Monday. So,
all right.
And you shouldn't because you're in your honeymoon. I want you to enjoy your time with live studio audience. And I will do my best to give Beerfield first time and only hopefully first time Dan live streams by himself.
Yeah. I will be back a week from Sunday. So I will be back for that live stream. And Richard has a question before we even get into the show. Dynasty question. Would you drop Trey Quinn for any of the following? Cole Beasley, Jimmy Graham, or Chase Daniel? 2 quarterback, half PPR league. My answer is no. Unless you absolutely need the rental quarterback for something, which if you do, you got bigger problems. Cole Beasley, you know what he is. And at worst, Trey Quinn has Cole Beasley upside. Jimmy Graham, I have been desperately trying to get rid of in Dynasty because he hasn't been productive for several years now. He's flashing a little bit more in Green Bay, but I'm trying to get out of Jimmy Graham. So I would not.
Yeah, like for me, it's Trey Quinn is a younger Cole Beasley, so I agree with you there 100%. So age is on your side with that one. As for Jimmy Graham, it's not too tight end or anything like that, so there's no reason to pick him up unless you're in desperate need for a tight end.
If you're competing and you have nobody, and I don't think there are any major tight end injuries. But if you're competing, you can do that.
And he's not someone I'm looking to target. If I'm a contender, I'm going to go for one of the big guys, or at least guys that are actually performing consistently. And for Chase, I agree with you there. You got to be pretty desperate because there's no long-term upside to Daniel. So
no, he's good in a pinch. And again, if you're trying to squeeze out wins, then maybe as a rental. But Trey Quinn isn't somebody I'd be willing to drop off for a rental. Yeah. And thanks for listening, Richard. We appreciate it. If you want to get your questions answered on the show, we answer kind of literally all of them. So, yeah, Again, YouTube. You can also ask on Twitter at BeerfieldFF, but we suck at Twitter. So there's that.
I've been getting a little bit better. I get enough, fairly consistent questions through Facebook, through Twitter. We got our loyal fans who haven't quite learned yet, but
Yeah.
hey, we're still here, and we're still here to hopefully win you guys weeks.
Yep. And I try to pay attention to Twitter. I'm just understandably not great at it. All right.
It's all good.
Let's go ahead and get into what is fueling us today.
What's fueling Beerfield?
So there's a little irony in the two breweries we have on the show here, and I'll get it. I'm definitely going to address that.
That's fine.
Because
I love it.
I wanted to publicly address it when it happened and decided not to. So Dan, go ahead and tell us what you're drinking, and then I'll tell you what I'm drinking and address said local minor controversy. I guess it's not really a controversy because
No.
somebody decided not to engage and take the high road. But go ahead.
Anyways, we're going pretty local for this. And I know for both of us as well, as you can't get any of these beers outside of the Springfield area.
You actually can't even get mine outside of me
outside of
or
your
a select
house.
few people right now. Well, you can get it outside of my house.
Oh, that's right, because
Just
Brent
not
has it. That's right.
Yeah, just not outside of me or a select few people. It's in very limited quantities at the moment.
So I'm drinking Blackout Brown, which is Buzz Bomb's Batch 100. The guy stopped in today and talked about it at work. He gave me a bottle, and I figured what better way to honor that and to have it on for the show. It kind of lines up well with your local, even though there's minor controversy to all this.
I only heard about this third party. So anyway, I am drinking Dive Bombs. This Could Be Love. It's actually a collaboration between us and them, and more specifically me and them. So this is the beer where Brent, who is one of the two owners of Dive Bomb, which is not yet open but will be opening in Havana, Illinois soon. This is the one where he taught me how to brew. So I've been homebrewing ever since. My third batch is fermenting right now. This is several months ago. But this is that beer. I was waiting for them to officially announce it before I put it on the show, but they did this past week. So now it's here. Now, as far as the controversy goes, through the grapevine, I don't know where it's come since then, but through the grapevine, there were some comments made on a local beer page wherein Dive Bomb announced, "Hey, we're coming," which good guys, good friends of mine at Dive Bomb. And somebody from Buzz Bomb decided, "Oh, nice name," because they were so close. Now, I guess kind of take offense to it. Now, never mind the fact that these breweries are going to be opening, about an hour plus apart from each other. But the name, I guess they perceived some form of ripoff. The name Dive Bomb was decided because Brent is a guitarist and a very, very good one.
I did not know that, actually.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Brent plays guitar, and two of his influences are Dimebag Darrell and Tom Morello, who played the Dive Bomb music style. That's where the name came from. So it's going to be a more musical-themed brewery. But, yeah, absolutely nothing to do with Buzz Bomb and those guys. I like their beer, but when you take exception like that, it kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth. So, yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I just felt like I wanted to address that publicly. I didn't address it publicly when it happened. The Dive Bomb guys kind of took the high road and didn't engage it. But, I'm hoping that's a bygones is bygones one-time off thing. But, yeah, that's where the Dive Bomb name came from.
I've actually spoke to... First off, I think the Dive Bomb with the backstory is amazing. I did not know. I know Brent okay. Obviously not on your level. I think that's pretty awesome that he came up with that. I'm really even more excited to try this stuff, especially with it being music themed. But for Buzz Bomb, I spoke to the head brewer plenty of times. We've talked about this a bit, and he's excited to do collaborations with them. So it's not like there is no ill will. I think the comments that were being said were from employees, not from the guys themselves.
And that's my thought too. I think I know who it was.
I know.
And I
know
don't
who
think it
was,
came from
so-
anybody high. Yeah, it was. Well, we won't say his name, but I think we're on the same page here. We'll talk about it after the show.
Yeah.
But I like Buzz Bomb's beer, and the guys have always been cool whenever I've been in there. So anyway, local brewery drama over. I'm glad that did not come from high up. I wanted to get the reason for the dive bomb name out there, and This Could Be Love is actually an Alkaline Trio reference. So there's that too.
Love it.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the news.
News.
All right, starting off, Stefan Diggs. Rumors flying all over the place about this. He missed practice Wednesday for an undisclosed non-injury reason. Everybody thinks it means trade. I think that's a little bit hasty to jump to those conclusions. We know Diggs and Thielen for probably the second year in a row, not happy with the offense.
Diggs is not getting traded. First off, the Vikings don't even have the cap space to withstand the dead cap that would come of this with both him and Thielen. I understand why people, why rumors are flying around. Obviously, the passing offense hasn't gotten going, and Cousins has been struggling on top of all the bad play calling and everything else. So, I would be massively shocked if he gets traded.
I would too. My guess is it's probably something else, like maybe a personal matter or something like that he had to tend to. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna jump to those conclusions. If we see something, I'll be majorly surprised because of the cap situation, because of the talent that's there. But yeah, we'll wait to hear something. That's the rumors that's flying around, though. Cardinals owner Bill Bidwell passed away at the age of 88. So I'll say this about Bill Bidwell: he was good. You know how I know he was good? Because I didn't know his name until today. And for NFL owners, Jerry Jones is obviously a little different because he's made himself GM. But for every Dan Snyder that's in the news for all the wrong reasons, the NFL owner that quietly goes about his business, contributes to the league, contributes to the community, and doesn't really, make a big deal out of anything or put himself in the media, I respect that.
Yep. Thought sprayers and all these things that people say in situations like this go out to his family. Obviously we didn't personally know him, so
right. Just a side note. Jay Gruden stated they, quote, don't have a plan for quarterback Sunday against the Patriots.
This is so fucking stupid too. Like,
yeah, this is dumb. So
I feel so bad for. I feel really bad for Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
3 different quarterbacks. I don't know how many OCs at some point. Some people, I think 2 now. It's yikes. Just yikes.
Yeah. So we'll see who ends up trotting out there. I'm assuming we'll know before Sunday. Colt McCoy and Dwayne Haskins are splitting first team reps while Keenum's off on the sideline or a walking boot. So likely one of those two.
Yeah.
The Chargers signed Illinois rookie Chase McLaughlin after Mike Badgley had a setback in his recovery. McLaughlin, 100% of his extra points, 75% field goal percentage at Illinois. So named to know, I guess. The Patriots released wide receiver Cam Meredith with an injury settlement. If you still have him in Dynasty for some reason, he can be dropped. I don't know if and when he'll resurface.
Yeah, he's probably done.
Yeah. And the Giants released wide receivers TJ Jones and Benny Fowler because Golden Tate is back.
Yes.
All right. Let's get into the hangovers, and there are a lot of names nursing them that have relevance or potential relevance on any given week.
Hangovers.
All right, got almost a full page of these. Mike Williams limited with a back injury. He missed time with this last week.
And he's missed games prior to it with having history of back injuries. So we'll need to know more.
It's something to monitor. I'm not comfortable with it.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Emmanuel Sanders limited Wednesday with a quad injury. He dealt with this last week and obviously had a good game. Not worried about this one.
Yep.
Rex Burkhead limited with a foot injury. X-rays came back negative for him. He had just 1 touch last week.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
You would think he had like 20 touches compared to how like Michelle and them played. But
Yeah.
hey, here we are.
No, Brandon Bolden. Ugh.
Right. Jimmy Navarro, question,
Sure.
or I guess maybe a comment. I just traded Josh Jacobs for Larry Fitzgerald in full PPR. What are your thoughts? Do you guys see Rashad Penny carving into Chris Carson's value tomorrow? So let's break down the trade first. How do you feel about Josh Jacobs for Larry Fitz in full PPR?
Full PPR, I like it. Josh Jacobs is getting carries, but it's inconsistent. You had a bad matchup coming up this week. I think that Larry Fitzgerald getting targets, especially in full PPR, has a higher value than Josh Jacobs. I don't know if this was a trade from a surplus of running backs to acquire a wide receiver type move, but I'm definitely on the Fitzgerald side here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a trade that I would be excited about either way. If I'm trading Fitz for I guess if I'm getting Josh Jacobs, I'm a little more excited because of potential upside. But I do see the need in full PPR. Fitz should continue to see targets in a high volume passing offense. I believe the Cardinals still lead the league in passing plays per game. So there's obviously upside there to it. It's just not a trade that just gets me excited. But it could help him win games, which is why it's more important.
As far as Penny cutting into Carson's value, I mean, Carson was fine before, I guess, week 1. I guess when Penny got, because Penny didn't play, last 2 weeks. So Carson was fine in week 1 and 2, though. So I don't see it killing his value. Cutting into it, sure, maybe I'll believe it when I see it. See it when I believe it, whatever. Yeah, I'm not sold that that's necessarily a doomsday scenario or one that's going to move the needle a whole heck of a lot for me.
I will say this. Chris Carson's had an issue with fumbles. We've seen it all season, and when it happened early on, while Penny didn't get all the work afterwards, he did cut into what his value was. There's been rumors and talks flying around of him because Penny's looked pretty good this season when he's had his opportunity. I don't think it cuts in too much. If Penny continues to look good, and Carson continues to have ball security issues, the change will happen sooner than later. But I don't think it's enough to want to move away or move off of Chris Carson this week.
Well, and for this game in particular, too, against the Rams, 1 target for Rashad Penny this year, just 12 last season. This is more of a Chris Carson game, even if Penny does eventually cut into that.
It just really depends. Seattle at home, you know what they want to do. You know that they're okay with doing shootouts. We've seen that this year. And you know they're okay with slowing it down and just hammering the football home. I don't know if that's the case, both of them are going to be fine.
I don't know at the secondary how much they're going to be able to slow it down against the Rams. He turned the ball over last week and still put up 44 points too.
Oh,
so.
I know.
I don't know
it just depends which Jared Goff we get, because Goff on the road is pretty bad still.
Yeah, weak secondary though. So
it is. It is. It could be an interesting Thursday night game.
Yeah.
Finally.
I still think Carson's going to be better than Penny. I just think he's firmly starting.
Oh, no.
This week.
I completely agree. It's going to be like you're going to play Carson over Penny.
Yeah. Short answer is no.
Yes. Yeah.
LaShawn McCoy limited with an ankle injury. He was kind of dealing with this last week too, so I think he'll be fine.
He's been dealing with it, I think, since week 1, so he's fine.
Yeah. Vernon Davis is in concussion protocol. That would mean Jeremy Sprinkle is next man up there.
Jesus.
Josh Gordon limited with a knee injury, plus matchup for him, so keep an eye on that.
Yep.
Hunter Henry worked in individual drills in the portion of practice that was open to the media, so he's on his way back. May not be this week, but probably within the next week or two. He had the same procedure done that I believe Michael Gallup did. Gallup is coming back this week.
Yes. I'm excited.
Kenny Stills was limited with a hamstring injury. Stop me if you've heard that one before. Chris Hogan was placed on IR. He's going to undergo a knee scope. Nobody cares. Terry McLaurin limited in Wednesday's practice with a hamstring issue. He was limited at the end of last week, ended up missing. I think he probably plays this week, but how much value he'll have, I don't know. More on him later. Chris Godwin missed practice with a hip injury. He missed all the way up until Friday last week, and had a huge game. I'm not worried about him.
Nope.
Rashad Penny removed from the injury report. We just beat that analysis to death. Juju Smith-Schuster, James Conner, Vance McDonald, they all missed practice. It's a toe for Juju still, so he'll play. Ankle for Conner. I believe he continued to play after the ankle injury on Monday night, and a shoulder for Vance McDonald. He did not play, and the fact that they felt the need to trade for Nick Vannett tells me that I am skeptical that he's going to be back this week.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Vance is out multiple weeks, and then if things don't get better, end up on IR.
Yeah.
Smith, Schuster, and Conner, I expect both to play.
Yep. Michael Gallup is set to return this week. Actually kind of like him. You figure that Cooper's going to get Alexander, more on him later. And he was doing well before he got hurt. So
not a good matchup, as Green Bay's been amazing against receivers this year, but they're at home.
Yeah.
And we love Gallup, so we're not going to talk ill about it.
Yep. Well, and like I said, best cornerback's going to be on Cooper, so that should open Gallup up a little bit. Case Keenum's in a walking boot. We talked about that early on. McCoy and Haskins splitting reps. Andy Isabella's going to play outside mostly. Christian Kirk to miss Sunday's game. Damiere Byrd is also doubtful. So thin it wide receiver, still going to be behind Keyshawn and Sherfield. But
it's a juicy, like he's a fun DFS play this week because
if you're feeling ballsy and need something cheap.
What's that?
Said if you're feeling ballsy and need something cheap.
Well, I mean, like if you're playing tournament or GPPs, you gotta find the low ownership guy that can go off. And
yeah,
I like Andy Isabella, and I love this matchup. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it. I'm seeing
first NFL game from somebody you've seen nothing out of. I think that there's probably other guys I'd be like, okay, yeah, let me go there before a guy that's still fourth on the depth chart playing in his first real NFL action. Patriots placed Stephen Gostkowski on IR, ending his season. Mark Andrews did not practice Wednesday. It's the same foot injury he's been dealing with. He'll probably be fine. Jamal Williams and Devontae Adams are sidelined at Wednesday's practice. Adams, keep an eye on. He has a chance to play. We'll see. Jamal Williams, probably not.
Yep.
Marlon Mack not practicing Wednesday with a calf injury. He did this last week and played. He'll be fine.
We got a question.
Sure.
Crunch Taco White. This is a standard league.
Okay.
He's a wide receiver too. Cooper, Godwin, or Fitz. Could play one in the flex too, but have Miles Sanders starting now.
So Sanders against the Jets, I do not like at all. Actually, I would play one in the flex. The
I would
Jets
not
have
play
been
Miles Sanders
very
over
good
any
against
of
the
these
run.
guys.
So they've been not great against the pass, but very good against the run. So I would not play Miles Sanders. I would go probably Godwin and Fitzgerald for me.
Yeah, I'm fine. Like I'm playing Cooper, Godwin, and Fitz over Sanders, so you can I would take Sanders out of the flex. Godwin's my top choice. And while I don't like Cooper's matchup this week, it's standard scoring.
Yeah.
It depends who do you think is going to score that touchdown this week. So
I would say Godwin's always got a good chance to score touchdowns.
Oh yeah,
you
for
got
sure.
Fitz without Christian Kirk there. Really the most viable option, and you're going to talk about Cooper here in a little bit. So
yeah.
I
agree with you. Godwin and Fitz would be my two plays.
Yeah, if you're sitting Sanders, that's why I gave two, because if you're sitting Sanders, I'm implying that opens one of those up. So that you'd need two then. So those are my two.
Yep.
Anyway, I lost my spot. That's not a slight. I just lost my spot. Bengals wide receiver
all of the
John
questions, I love it.
Yeah, I do too. Bengals wide receiver John Ross has been placed on IR. Stanley Morgan Jr. was signed from the practice squad. Keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, love me some Stanley Morgan Jr. And I hope he has a nice week so we can talk about him on Monday.
I hope so too. Good route runner, good hands. So should like prototypical slot receiver. So we'll see how he does. Auden Tate obviously going to play outside, as is Tyler Boyd. So we'll see if Stanley Morgan sees the field and what he's able to do.
Oh, another question.
Sweet. Hit me with it.
We got Joe here. I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name because reasons. Yo PPR League. Who wins this trade? Le'Veon and Juju or Galladay and Nick Chubb?
Oh man,
Wow, that's close.
that is close.
I got,
I gotta go with
kind of like Galladay and
Chubb.
Chubb here. Yeah, like
as weird as that feels for me, Chubb is flashed major upside. He showed the explosiveness. Bell has not gotten it going yet with the Jets, and Galladay has been outperforming Juju. Now I think the toe may be bothering Juju as well as the backup quarterback more than he probably should, but Galladay has been quietly very good this year so far, and Juju has kind of struggled. So yeah, it's one of those things to where if you ask me this question in 5 or 6 weeks, I could be completely wrong about that and be on the Bell and Juju side because of what those guys have done in the past. But asking me right now today, I think I'd rather have Galladay and Chubb.
yeah, this is a matter of like in Dynasty, I think it's pretty clear. Well, maybe not pretty clear actually.
It's
Redraft wise, like you want guys that are going to be productive right now. I think Bell is fine with Sam Darnold coming back. I think that offense takes the next step, and Bell at least he's that efficiency boosts with the better quarterback play. But Galladay in this Lions offense, which has not been as run heavy as people expected, not shocked by that, by the way. And Chubb now getting it going. I don't know what side you got in this trade. I can understand why if you moved off of either or.
Mm-hmm.
I still like Juju. I still like Bell. But I think this is really, really close.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns already for Galladay also. So
he also looks like he followed it up. Looks like he has a Bell and Juju. He followed this one up with switch it from Galladay and Chubb to Devonta Freeman and Cooper Kupp. I'm still keeping
Galladay,
Bell and Juju.
I'd keep Bell and Juju there. Yeah.
Yep. It sounds like he has Bell and Juju, and he's exploring options to move them. I'm not moving them for Cooper Kupp and Devonta Freeman. We love Kupp here, no doubt. Freeman, I'm not so high on at this moment.
That's the difference for me is Devonta Freeman. Cooper Kupp has been fantastic, and again, Juju still has a chance to get it going. The fact that he's still on the injury report with the toe issue tells me that maybe that's a bigger issue than people are leading on, and that could be part of the reason he's been struggling. But yeah, thank you for the question.
Love it, Joe.
All right,
moving on.
Dontrell Inman was placed on IR with the quad injury Sunday. He flashed as he tends to do with 5 for 76 and nothing, and then immediately got hurt.
Fucking, they have three healthy receivers on roster right now.
Yeah. Wayne Gallman limited in practice Wednesday with a neck injury. He'll probably play. Pat Shurmur would not rule Saquon Barkley out against the Vikings, though. He was jogging, changing direction, and working individual drills on the sideline. My bet's more on next week than this week, though. But he is back probably earlier than most people expected.
I just don't want him to rush it. Like,
that's my fear.
Giants are not competing this year. There is absolutely zero need to rush Barkley back. This is a lost season. It's looked good with Jones playing better than people expected, but there's no reason to rush back Barkley.
Well, and especially with the ankle issues. So I'll reference Leonard Fournette here, even though Barkley's a much better back than Fournette.
Yeah.
We saw the first 2 years with Leonard Fournette what the ankle injuries did to his agility, to his elusiveness, and to his yards per carry because he wasn't able to evade tackles. He wasn't able to change direction that well, and you saw it have massive impacts on his productivity. So that's my fear with Barkley being rushed back is he comes back too early and he's not fully healthy and he can't cut on that ankle. You're not going to see the same Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, just don't rush him back. I don't want to see a talent have his year wasted because of
that.
Of them trying to be cute with this.
Yep. Zay Jones did not practice on Wednesday, if anybody cares. Having a terrible year.
Super disappointing in Jones.
Damian Williams and Tyreek Hill returned to Chiefs practice. If Damian Williams plays, that makes Darrell Williams pretty much useless. It doesn't move the needle a lot on McCoy, as he didn't see his usage go up that much with Damian Williams not playing. And Tyreek Hill being back just kind of takes the guesswork out of which wide receiver is going to get the deep shots between Hardman and Robinson.
Just makes me love Patrick Mahomes more to get Tyreek Hill back. So
yeah.
Let's go.
Yep, Josh Jacobs limited with an elbow injury. He's probably going to play. T.Y. Hilton, something to watch here. He's not practicing still for the Colts. He doesn't have to practice to play, but keep an eye on that situation. I mean, if he plays, you're probably starting him.
I mean, it's a juicy matchup just based on
Yeah.
game script alone.
Yep, exactly. Gardner Minshew limited in practice Wednesday. He'll play. I'm not worried about that. Sam Darnold participated in practice, but is yet to be cleared for contact. Again, not sure what mono has to do with contact, but there you go.
It's probably because he lost weight.
Yeah.
You know, you generally lose some weight when you get mono, but that'd be my only guess.
Yeah. Devin Singletary limited in practice still. Hate him. Had a long diatribe about how much I hate him earlier today. Lindsay was working a trade, and Devin Singletary was part of it, and she asked my opinion on it, and we know how that went.
I will give him this. He's looked good in limited touches, but I still don't like him.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's been kind of Philip Lindsay-esque or Austin Eckler-esque in the fact that he's putting up 60 to 70 yards and a touchdown on like 9 carries.
Like, so Devin Singletary is the guy that you point at when people bring up, what's more important, snaps or touches. Singletary has led the team in snaps, but for some reason is not getting any touches.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty funny.
Well, and again, this is why more so than anything, I like efficiency.
Yeah,
if you're efficient, then I can.
Well, he's been super efficient.
Has been.
He's not getting touches.
Yep. Well, and then was Kenyon Drake.
I know. Yeah, right. Drake, Lamar Miller of old. So
yeah, I mean it's that type of thing, and Kenyon Drake and Lamar Miller are both a good example of this. Also, sometimes those type of backs, you can't give that much work to because it makes them less effective. We've seen that before. So, but yeah, he has been efficient. I will give him that, and I like efficiency over touches and touches over snap share. So there's that.
We'll see what happens when he comes back, but. Either way, spend too much time talking about a running back we don't like.
Yep, Josh Allen still in concussion protocol. We'll see. Barkley has to start.
God, will they play in this week?
They are.
I'm playing that defense.
They're playing the Titans. You're playing that defense anyway.
I'm playing that defense no matter what.
Yeah, you play that defense regardless. So.
Yep.
And Deshaun Jackson remains sidelined with an abdominal injury. And Tyrell Williams missed Wednesday's practice with a foot injury.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't like either. Well, not Tyrell for sure.
I don't like Tyrell this week as much. I've been on Tyrell the entire season. I do not like him this week. Jackson, I like a little more against the Jets if he can play.
Which I don't see happening.
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and get into some top shelf and rail. Who are we starting? Who are we sitting?
Top shelf or rail?
All right, the decision that plagues everybody every week. Do you want the top shelf that'll leave you feeling, potentially good, or do you want the hangover? So let's go ahead and kick this one off. Dan, I cussed you when I saw this already in the document when I opened it up because I was on the toilet thinking about what I was going to do here, thinking through matchups. And the first thing that jumped out to me was, well, David Montgomery had a lot of touches last week, but not efficiency. And they got the Raiders, which should be a similar game script, but should allow for a lot better efficiency than the Vikings did. So take it away.
You just hit all the notes.
Oh, did I?
I think this is the David Montgomery breakout game. No Vontaze Burfict, obviously out for the year now for being a piece of shit, which hurts Oakland's defense. London is weird, but I think the biggest thing is to keep an eye on Mike Davis to see if he even travels with the team. I don't even think it matters because he had one touch the last time he played. I think we're finally seeing the complete shift to the Cohen and Montgomery backfield. I agree with you on game script. This should be more of a Montgomery game, as I don't expect Oakland to depress this Bears defense with high passing and scoring volume.
Nope, I think you see exactly what you saw last week. It's just against a worse defense, which means that instead of 24 carries or touches, sorry, for like 3.5 yards, you're going to get probably about the same amount, but more yardage.
Yeah, and just better chance to score.
Yeah.
They should see more red zone work. Montgomery's got almost all, if not all, of the goal line carries, which obviously you're not going to give to Tariq Cohen unless you're being cute with it. So I like him this week. I've talked a little about him all season, and that he's not ready yet. But I think this is the week that he goes off.
All right, we're gonna tag team this next go around here.
Let's do it.
We're gonna talk the Vikings receivers.
Oh, this is so good
because we didn't talk about the Vikings enough on Monday. I have Thielen, you have Diggs. My guess is it's probably for about the same reasons, though. I picked Thielen because Squeaky Oil gets the wheel. He's the one that kind of came out to the media and said, hey, we need to throw the football. And this is also kind of, it's almost a similar narrative to the Bears, but in a different way, if you will. I expect that the Giants' offense with Daniel Jones is good enough to put up points and prevent the Vikings offense from being able to settle into that. We're going to run the ball 30 times and throw it, 30 to 40 times and throw it 20. I think the game stays close enough to where they have to pass. The Giants' secondary is not great. It's just like the Bears game. They were close enough to where they had the pass, except the Bears' pass rush and secondary is pretty good. The Giants' pass rush and secondary, not good. And I think you're going to see Thielen and Diggs actually reap the benefits of that from the Giants' offense with a Golden Tate coming back, being able to keep up and forcing the Vikings to throw the ball more against a not great defense.
I think Diggs, Thielen, and Cooks are all going to have great games. I don't think the Giants' offense to me really matters in this. I think this is what you hit on, with your first point. That the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I know that Diggs didn't say it, but this offense is starving for some explosiveness. We've seen multiple apologies from Kirk Cousins in multiple weeks now about the lack of passing. I think that Zimmer and Spielman are feeling a little bit of the hot seat here, and this is their overcorrection game. This is a prime matchup. The Giants have a horrendous secondary outside of Collins. This is who's not there anymore. Sorry, outside of I think anybody there. This is horrible. Jenkins is one of the worst rated corners in the league, who should be seeing a lot of digs this week. The other guy across from Thielen is also just as bad. This is the game stack you want in DFS, I think, and this is the week that both Thielen and Diggs go off. One may only get a touchdown, but I think they're both going to get a lot of production.
Yeah, last week, I can't remember his name, Deontay something, Harris maybe, is the cornerback that's going to get Thielen. And he was dead last in coverage rankings, and Jenkins was like 90th or something like that. So
per Roto Grinders, Thielen has the best wide receiver
matchup,
corner matchup this week against that guy.
Yep.
Diggs is like top 10, so this is I would have picked Thielen, but I think this is good to talk about both.
Yep, it's juicy. All right, I'll go ahead and pick up, and then we'll get our last one. So I like Robbie Anderson this week, with the caveat if Sam Darnold plays. I obviously don't like him if it's Luke Falk. But if Sam Darnold plays, I like Robbie Anderson this week against Philadelphia. McLaurin burned them week 1. They had dual 100-yard games given up week 2 against Ridley and Julio. Adams did his thing on him last week. It's a very, very thin secondary. Darby's hurt. Mills isn't back. They're worst in the league as far as points allowed to wide receivers. Robbie Anderson has yet to break out, and what McLaurin showed, who I think is a very similar type of player to Robbie Anderson, you can get behind this defense, you can chuck big plays, and I think that Robbie Anderson's going to have himself a nice week, again, with Sam Darnold, though. I don't think he has a nice week with Luke Falk.
I don't even know if it matters if it's Darnold or Falk. I think there's one way that you're going to keep up with Philly, and that's attacking the secondary. If Philly's at home, they're going to score points. We know that, especially with another week of Jeffrey back and healthy, potentially Deshaun Jackson. We've seen this defense kind of play down to their, these weaker offenses. You see Washington in week 1. And I think Anderson's going to catch a deep pass, or at least get a long yak. Again, who knows? There's a touchdown there.
Are we sure Luke Falk can throw deep?
I don't think it would matter, because I think all he needs is a short slant route to to let Robbie Anderson go. Plus garbage time. You know what? Here's the reason why I didn't put Robbie Anderson in my DFS section. I still like him this week, though. I still agree with you.
Yeah.
I like him a lot more, obviously, if Darnold's playing, bearing his health. But I don't hate him as much if Luke Falk's in. Obviously,
I hate everything if Luke Falk plays.
That's true.
Because I hate Luke Falk.
That's fair.
All right. Go ahead with Will Fuller.
Yeah. So we talked about him on Monday.
A decent amount, actually. Potential drop. We talked about the Texans.
Yeah. So this is it's a bit weird, but if you look into this, it looks a lot better on paper. Will Fuller is going to be slated against Isaiah Oliver, who's Player Profiler's 91st ranked corner. So it's a good matchup there. He's ranked 12th in air yards, and while Watson has taken a lot of punishment, the Falcons have only 5 sacks on the season. So while he may still see some QB hurries and hits along that line, one thing Watson does well, is extend the plays. He had multiple chances last week to score big touchdowns that was just missed. If the pass rush isn't there, we've seen Watson have very good games. And I think this is the game that Will Fuller gets those touchdowns. I think this is a very sneaky game stack in DFS as well. And I think this is going to go over the 48.5 point total. So I like Fuller this week as a get right game, and I think the touchdowns will come.
All right. And my start of the week is Devonta Freeman, keeping it with the same game. He leads the Falcons back to targets 21 through 4 weeks, 5.25 a game. Texans pass rush, going to require quick throws. Ryan's taken 10 sacks already. He's been under pressure a little bit. So teams against the Texans, I think this is why backs have more receptions. They're getting the screen game going. They're checking it down, and they're letting their backs work. They've allowed 34 receptions, which is most in the league, to backs over just 4 weeks. Just a hair under 6 a game. So in any form of PPR or half PPR league, I like Devonta Freeman this week. I think there's going to be volume there for him. I think he's going to be able to give you a nice little floor with the receiving work. And yeah, who knows? Anything else you get on top of that's bonus.
Yep, I agree. I like that call.
All right, let's go ahead and look at our sits of the week. You've got probably the most obvious call that you could ever make as a running back against the Bears defense.
Yeah, so Josh Jacobs. The only way you're going to be productive is if you're Dalvin Cook in garbage time, apparently, because a touchdown is the only thing that saved his day. Jacobs already battling with injuries. We know how good the Bears defense is. What's nice to see is that Jacobs is getting 15.5 carries per game right now. He's only seen 5 targets on the season, so he's clearly splitting work with the running back duo, Jalen Richard and Dwayne Washington. I don't think there's any work on the ground from that's going to be, from an efficiency standpoint. You are basically praying from the fall into the end zone. Not liking him this week. There's better days ahead, so I'm looking beyond this.
Same reason as every week against the Bears. You hope they fall into the end zone. If they don't, they're useless. All right, I got Terry McLaurin. So a lot of reasons to not want to start McLaurin this week, despite the fact that he's had a great start to his career. First off, or not the least of which, is the fact that you don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. We don't know what type of rapport he'll have with Dwayne Haskins in the NFL. When Haskins came in and looked absolutely terrible. You don't know what type of rapport he's going to have with Colt McCoy, who's been injured. Case Keenum likely not getting the start, which is where we've seen McLaurin produce. So chemistry matters, but also just the Patriots. You've got no touchdowns allowed, no receivers over 75 yards, fewest wide receiver points allowed in the league. Didn't give up the first defensive touchdown until last week. I think that the most they've allowed in half PPR is like 7.8 points to a wide receiver. And I'm just not betting on that with the variables at quarterback and how good New England's defense is.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest call to make. Like, they've had a really easy start to the season in terms of offenses, but Jesus. Yeah. We got a question before we move on.
Sweet.
Crunch Taco White coming at us again. 1 point PPR.
Okay.
I don't think it matters for this question. Chris Conley or Marquise Brown?
I think it's Marquise Brown.
It's got to be Brown. Conley's kind of fallen off the map. He's already the 3.
Panthers
and
have
he may be
also been
losing.
quietly good against wide receivers this year.
They
as well.
have been. They have been.
They're a little on the upside of middle of the road, where is Marquise Brown, despite the big playability, going to be playing the Steelers, who throw that Bengals game out. Their secondary has not been very good. I like the Ravens against the Steelers this week, and I'm going to trust Hollywood in that big playability over Conley against in an offense that isn't throw first, where DJ Chark and D.D. Westbrook are ahead of him in the pecking order, and against a Panthers defense that has actually been improved against the pass this year.
Yeah, it's Brown's the easy answer. I mean, it may not look that way. He's so boom bust, but he gets the snaps, he gets the routes. They've increased, I think, nearly every week since week 1. So
yeah. All right. We promised Amari Cooper talk, so go ahead. Why are you sitting Amari Cooper?
Yeah, so this is a tough call, but this is that point in the year where you got to make some of the tough decisions. I get Cooper's been good. Wide receiver 9.5 playing PPR this season. Scored 4 touchdowns in his first 3 games. Last week, though, yes, he was banged up, but he was still playing against one of the better cover corners in the league, in Marshawn Lattimore. I believe he went 5 for 8. He went 5 for 48 on 8 targets. Not a great week. Now he gets what could be a even more difficult test than Jair Alexander, who is quickly becoming one of the better cover corners and just corners overall in football. He's all no games with more than 4 with more than 4 catches or more than 49 receiving yards. This is coming on top of games where he's given up 11 targets and 6 targets, 8 targets, 9 targets. So he's getting work against someone. He's shutting it down. That's why I also don't really like the passing game this week for Dallas. But this is the tough call you have to make, and you have better options in flex, like let's say Larry Fish, Gerald. To go back to that question, I would rather lean away from Cooper this week. This is a tough call you may have to make. The targets are going to be there, but I don't think the production will be.
Yep. It's a hard one. I almost made another difficult call. Couple difficult matchups, actually, in this one against superstars. Alvin Kamara doesn't have a great matchup.
Yeah.
I think it was Nick Chubb also doesn't have a great matchup, but Amari Cooper is just another one of those that is normally a mainstay in your lineup that doesn't have a great matchup. And if you've got better options on your bench, it's something you have to actually consider.
Yep.
All right. I am sitting Delanie Walker this week. I wanted to get a tight end in the mix. We don't do a lot of tight ends or quarterbacks in this segment. And quite honestly, it was hard to find things that I was comfortable with, given what I just mentioned, the amount of stud running backs that have bad matchups, but it's hard to say sit them because they're stud running backs. So Evan Ingram was held to just 4 points on 8 targets in his matchup. Delanie Walker just had 2 targets last week and no touchdowns allowed through 4 weeks to the position by the Buffalo Bills. Their defense has been good. They haven't allowed a whole lot in the passing game. That's the reason that they've won games, the reason that they were close to the Patriots. They held the Patriots mostly in check. We know Tennessee's offense can be a little bit shaky, despite what they showed you last week. Delanie Walker didn't have the volume last week. Could have been injury. Could have been something else. But Evan Ingram did have volume and didn't produce. And I think at this stage, Evan Ingram's a better tight end than Delanie Walker. So I expect another dud week from Walker.
I agree. I do.
All right. And then you had Austin Hooper against the Falcons before you fixed it to Austin Hooper at the Texans. I'll go ahead and say out there.
Yes.
This is another one where I looked at it and said, yeah, no, that makes sense because the Texans aren't giving up squat to tight ends. And then I backed off of it and said, yeah, but Hooper's kind of produced in everything every week, and the tight end market is so thin, this is hard.
Yeah. So I had a hard time finding matchups I liked. Like, I don't want to just do obvious ones like Josh Jacobs. So I wanted to find some of the more difficult ones I think owners will have to make. Hooper's been on fire. He's averaging 8 targets, 7 catches, and 77 yards in the season. Got 2 touchdowns so far. Texans have been pretty difficult to beat, though. 95 yards given up total to tight ends this year. And while they haven't faced tough matchups, they got to face Jared Cook with Drew Brees in week 1, just 3 targets. They got to play Greg Olsen last week coming off of his best game of the season, only giving 4 targets, 2 catches for 5 yards. The problem is that you can beat Houston on the ground with your running backs, and you can beat them in the air with your receivers. And I think that's the game we're going to see here. I think Hooper will be better than anybody that we've seen so far against the Texans. I just don't think it's going to be good enough for you to be excited about it. I think you could be seeing a very floor game from him. And I think that's the time where you can shift on to somebody else and not have to eat a bad game from him. I understand it's going to be very difficult to sit him. It will be. But if you can lean elsewhere and have a little more juice to your matchups to it, I think you can be okay with not playing Hooper this week.
Yep. All right. I've got Ronald Jones as it this week, and this is a guy who's been ascending. His carries have gone up. The offense has been ascending, and I just don't think this is a great one. On a Cowboys offense that have been good against bad teams, Zeke couldn't get anything going. Saints defense, I think, may have found their stride. They held him to just 35 yards. He was saved by a touchdown. And when I say found their stride, we saw this last year at the Saints defense too. They were god-awful through about the first 4 weeks, and then they turned good. And we just saw their shutdown game. And when they did that last year, they kind of kept riding that throughout the rest of the season. The offensive script, it should mean more throwing in this one. At least a bit. With the Saints defense being good, I don't think they're going to be able to settle into like a huge lead or anything like that. 38 yards receiving is the season high against New Orleans, and Ronald Jones is getting right at about 2 red zone touches a game. So if they do get down there, it hasn't been him that they're trusting to try to pound the ball in. So especially when you have Evans and Godwin and OJ Howard and all those red zone targets, I don't like the way this is lining up for Ronald Jones to be somebody that you would consider as a flex or an RB2 this week. Now, if he performs this week, I will never make this call again, despite the similarly tough matchups he has in the weeks ahead.
I don't really love this game as a whole.
I don't
the
either.
Bucks on the road, Saints are leaning on this defense even more so without Drew Brees. And just with the offense going into full game manager mode, I think this is going to be low scoring. I think this could be a low scoring game. This almost feels like a Peyton Barber game, not a Ronald Jones game.
Yep. All right, let's get into a beer review before we go ahead and give our streams and you call it.
Beer review.
All right. Go ahead, Dan. What did you think of Buzz Bomb's Blackout Brown?
So Blackout Brown, we didn't really get to talk about it in the preview. It's an Imperial Brown Ale, 11%. It's their batch 100. This is a very heavy brown. This drink's almost like a little bit softer porter. There's a lot of chocolate on this and a little bit of coffee. The brown still sticks out, but I think it drinks more like an Imperial Porter, or more like a porter than an actual brown. You can see very, very dark for a brown as well. I would recommend this, but nobody out there is going to be able to get it at this point. This is very limited release as a nod to our local brewery out here.
Yep. All right, and for me, this could be love from Dive Bomb Brewing. You're absolutely not going to be able to get this one. You can't even go into a brewery and get this one right now. Sorry, I burped. Very, very, very good drinking beer. The strawberry really, really comes out at front. You get the tartness from it, but it's not like the tartness you'd get out of a sour on a Gosa or a Gosa where it's trailing on the back end or anything. You get the tartness of the strawberry up front. You got a lot of strawberry flavor. The cream ale kind of lets the other flavors in this shine. It finishes out with just a hint of vanilla. Leaves a little bit of a dry feeling on the mouth with it. That's due to the hops that are used in it. It kind of doesn't give you any bitterness, but it does tail off into more of a dry feeling. The strawberry is the star in this one with a very, very good supporting cast. So, I was proud of it. I thank Brent and Dive Bomb for walking me through it and for deciding to put it on tap when they do get launched.
I was able to get a bottle from this when I saw Brent last.
Oh, were you?
I was. A lot of strawberry. I do agree with you on that. It's almost like it's a strawberry ale with a little bit of lactose, or not lactose, but vanilla to kind of give it that cream ale feel. Definitely a great first time beer, though. I will say that I'm excited to see what you can produce, and when I can jump into this part of the game, I'm excited to do some more beer field beers out there.
Like I said, come visit. I got a coffee white stout for you too next time I see you. And we got a
You're speaking my language there.
yeah, we've got a I don't know how it'll turn out, but a caramel apple vanilla ale brewing. So we'll see how that goes.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Well, again, we'll see. It might have been a little ambitious. I don't know yet.
We'll see.
That's kind of the rough part about homebrew is that you have this idea, but you don't really get to know if you executed on it for like a month plus. So
That's true.
all right. Let's go ahead and find out what's on special this week. Quarterbacks, tight end, and defense streamers.
Weekly specials.
All right, Dan. Gonna go ahead and start it off with you. You've got K ellipsis I ellipsis R ellipsis K Cousins parentheses yikes.
I hate telling people to play Cousins, but if we're gonna talk up Thielen and Diggs, pretty good chance that Cousins is gonna have a good week because of it.
Yep.
He hasn't been great this year. We know that. It's been hammered home, not just with Vikings fans, but with all fantasy fans out there. But you got to play the matchup when you get into this part of the streaming options. This is not a great week also for streaming quarterbacks. There's not a lot of great matchups to go around. So if you're in this kind of bind, you're in, like, let's say you have Josh Allen, or you lost Drew Brees, whatever, there's not great. So you got to play the matchup. Giants giving up 7th most points to QBs, giving up the 5th most yards, and they're tied for the 5th most in touchdowns.
Yeah.
So you got to get, it's more of a, you're taking a chance for that overcorrection game.
You're going to take a shot on Kirk Cousins. This is the week to do it. And again, the overcorrection you mentioned is a good call. Also a weak secondary. And again, a game they should have to pass in. I'm going to go ahead and recommend you start Jacoby Brissett. He's 46.9% owned. He's currently the quarterback 10 going up against Kansas City in a game that's going to require throwing and is not a great defense. Even without Hilton, he managed 3 touchdowns last week. The hope is that Hilton will be back. We don't know yet. We'll see. But Chiefs have absolutely no bite on defense. Jacoby Brissett, multiple multi-touchdown games. If you're looking for a streamer this week, Jacoby Brissett's the guy I'm going to lean on. He also does come with rushing floor.
Yep.
All right. Keeping it with the Colts, for tight end, you have Jack Doyle.
Yeah. So if you look back at what the tight end position has done to the Chiefs this year, they've given up the 4th most points to the position this year. They haven't given up a lot of touchdowns, just 1 touchdown in the season. So that kind of rules out Eric Ebron, who has seen, I think, no more than 35% of snaps. Jack Doyle is the guy. He had season high, 8 targets last week. Wanted more against a worse offense or against a worse defense. And even if Hilton comes back, I still like Doyle this week because of the actual game script that should come from this. Just more passing volume just means more targets coming this way. And I think that Brissett's going to rely on his safety blanket a little bit more to kind of keep the Chiefs offense off the field. He may or may not score a touchdown this week, but I do like his production in this game.
Yeah. All right. I'm going with the guy who hasn't produced a lot, but has probably his best chance to this week in Tyler Eifert. Just 17.3% owned against Arizona. They've allowed touchdowns every week to the tight end position, including, I believe, 2 last week. 6 in total over the first 4 weeks. Every tight end's gone over 50 yards, including 2 100-yard games. It's like a 56-yard game, a 75-yard game, and 2 100-yard games. Eifert's had targets each week, 5 or more on a team that needs some punch and needs somebody to step up, especially with John Ross going out. This is a juicy matchup, and if Eifert's going to produce or show you that it has anything left, I think this is the week that it happens.
Yeah, this is the ultimate easy play. Who's ever playing the Cardinals?
Yep.
In terms of tight end, you just play them.
Right now, that's how it is. All right, you've got a defense I almost picked with Cleveland going up against San Francisco.
So I think the Browns defense is going to figure themselves out. They've forced 3 turnovers in back-to-back games. They've also gotten to the quarterback 6 times. So there's a nice floor to this defense. Jimmy G is a massive turnover machine. I believe since he's been traded to the 49ers, his touchdown interception ratio is 17 to 12. I think this is the week that, like if you're looking for a prime matchup for streaming, I think this is one of the best options.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Again, I almost picked him because of Jimmy G's tendency to be kind of streaky. He'll have a good game, and then it's kind of like Rex Grossman used to be. He'll have a great game, then he'll throw 3 interceptions the next one.
Yikes.
For me, I'm going with Tampa Bay, just 4.3% owned against New Orleans. They're a defense 1 right now. They managed 9 points while being blown out, thanks to turnovers that they were able to force. New Orleans offense struggled last week despite the win against the Cowboys defense, who, Cowboys have a good linebacking core, but the pass rush isn't phenomenal, and the coverage unit isn't phenomenal. And they forced a fumble every week with multiple sacks in 3 of the last 4. So Tampa Bay's defense is outperformed expectations as of right now. Going against New Orleans with a backup quarterback, it might get you burned, but I think they're going to be at least some decent floor here.
I don't see Teddy Bridgewater burning this defense.
Oh.
Unless Kamara has like a career day rushing the football, I don't see the Saints offense killing the Bucs this week.
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and look at some you call it's for DFS and you degenerate bettors out there, and we'll call it a week.
Yes.
You call it.
All right, Dan. Again, starting with you, Calvin Ridley, $5,400 on FanDuel. I think it was $49 on DraftKings because I almost picked him.
Yeah, so he's had a couple of bad weeks, which has driven his price down, which is kind of what you want from guys in what should be a high-scoring matchup. 48.5, I think, is the over/under. Houston is 5-point favorites at home, which generally means that the Falcons are going to have to try to keep up, or at least throw, or be down early and then have to throw. We mentioned earlier with Austin Hooper, like, in the best way to attack this defense is through pass catching running backs and then the receivers. I think this is a good bounce back game for Ridley and one of my favorite game stacks this week.
Yep. All right, I've got Mark Andrews, $4,800 on DraftKings, and this is again just kind of due to the matchup against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's defense hasn't been fantastic. Then again, neither is Baltimore's. I think this game stays close enough. It's a game where there's going to have to be some throwing if they decide to take away Marquise Brown. Mark Andrews is going to be the guy, and Mark Andrews normally is the guy anyway. It's just $4,800, which is cheaper than a wide receiver 3 or whatever. It's a little more for a tight end, but ultimately, even dealing with the foot injuries, managed to stay productive. The floor is there. I think there's upside this week for Mark Andrews.
I can see it.
All right, and you got the Seahawks favored by 1.5 against the Rams at home.
Yeah, I think they just flat out beat the Rams, and I think they beat them by more than 2 points. I think if a home favorite's not getting 3 points, I think you're doing pretty well. Seahawks offense has no problem changing game scripts if they need to. Either, throwing the football more or having to run the football more. If they're running the football a bunch, that means they're up and the defense is playing well. We've seen what Goff is on the road, and it's pretty fucking gross, even despite how good this offense looks on paper. I think the Seahawks easily cover the 1.5 points on Thursday night.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully you can turn this around, because this is the one area you've been on a little bit of a cold streak.
It's been a bit tough. It's been tough.
Meanwhile, I'm going to try to keep the hot streak going. I've made 2 bets every week. I've only lost 2 bets through 4, so that's pretty good.
Good.
Yeah. Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. I'm going to say take the over. It's at 44.5 right now. Baltimore's defense hasn't been great. Pittsburgh's defense hasn't been great. We see Baltimore was the highest scoring team in the league going into last week, and Pittsburgh and Mason Rudolph just were able to put up 23 on a Bengals team that really showed no life. So I think that 44.5 is surpassable, and I think Baltimore may put up 30 on their own. So
They could. This game scares me. But I do like if I'm choosing between over under, I'm choosing the over in this game.
Yep.
I just didn't like any of the totals this week that much.
Well, I scared myself away from the over under on the Saints or on the Rams and Bucks game. My initial call last week was going to be the over, and I scared myself away from that, and it definitely would have been the right call. So I decided when I saw something I thought I liked to not scare myself off of it this week.
That's obvious. Like, you've been hot on your betting.
I have been
so
hot, so
I've been keeping up with that. I also like the over. Like, I also like the under of the Saints Bucks. I've been preaching it all game, so that's another good one. I don't know what it said. I can't. I've been trying to find it, but
it is like 48.
It is 47.
47
Saints 3.5 and 47. I do like the under in that game. I don't think there's as much scoring as people think there will be.
Nope, that was also something that I saw because I looked at it and was like, over again? No, not the over again, because I think the Saints defense has stepped up too much. I think the Bucks win that game potentially, but I don't know that they clear 47.5. So
I don't hate the Bucks money line in that either. Like, if they're already down 3.5, or they're already being given 3.5 points.
What's the money line for the Bucks?
I don't see the money line. I just have my Roto Grinders pulled up. I don't have the money line total for it, but Saints are 3.5 at home. I don't think the Saints are going to cover 3. Like, I think if the Saints win, they win by less than 3.
Gotcha.
One of those like last second field goals.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's all we got for you. Dan will be back on Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. YouTube only, so be sure to follow along with the show, Beerfield Fantasy Football there. Subscribe, hit the notification icon. There will not be audio versions of that for technical reasons without me here. I will be back the following Sunday, so I'll be back for week 6 live stream to answer all your questions then, and we'll be back to regular scheduled programming for week 7. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for following along. Thank you for sticking with us as things get a little weird when one of us can't be here during the season or the other. Shout out Nick, you are missed.
So missed.
Yep. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for the questions. We do enjoy answering your questions every time they're asked. Gives us a little different perspective. Lets us think a little bit. Good conversation pieces. So thank you for those. I am at Hot BFF with 2 P's. He is at 30 BFF with 2 F's. And we will catch you next time.
See you.
And we're done. Wait,
Boom.
We're not done. I forgot to stop the everything. Actually, we're really not done.
Not done.
We're still streaming everywhere. Okay, now we're really done. Bye, guys.